Hey guys, Cheryl Keaton back in another video, and today we're going to be talking about some things that Triple H needs to work on. Well, WWE needs to work on. Now, disclaimer, I have no problem with Triple H and him being the new chief of content. I think that he's been booking in a way that he just knows are going to be a sure hit, and kind of neglecting the women's because they're just not used to the women being sure hits, I guess. But they have been, and I think that the women deserve more. I think that Triple H is just trying to make the most out of what he's been given, and there needs to be some shaking things up. You know, changing the way things are done because women can handle it. Now, according to Fightful, the women have grown frustrated with their bookings, which I think that, hey, them just now being a little frustrated to say something, no, it shows you that they were trying to make the most out of what they've been given, because that's what they've used to been doing. But now it's getting to a point where it's kind of awkward and disrespectful. Awkward and disrespectful because there's no direction for their feuds. I don't care what you guys say. You can bring up the whole Jay situation, but that's an example of how the women's division have not been booked properly. Because you have two suspects that people think are the ones that did it, but there hasn't been any hints, there hasn't been any ways that would make sense. So now you have the two possible culprits that could have been showing that it was them. They could have been giving out hints that it was them the whole time, because it would make sense if it were them. But now you're over here don't know what's going on, and it's okay for you to not know what's going on until they want you to know, but you gotta make it make sense. You gotta build around a story. You gotta build that story up. If it is Naomi and Bianca, that would be a crime. It'd be a crime. And I think that them being pushed into just weekly random things, the women's division, that don't work. It doesn't work. There needs to be storylines. You bring out two mid-card titles, which they should have, period. The talent that's in that locker room needs something to fight for. So them bringing out those mid-card titles was a great idea, and I commend them for it. But we need to have stories along with them. You need to have feuds along with them. There's no way that Lyra's first defense, I think it's her first defense, should be against Dakota Kai. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't have been there. Like, you were building something up with Ivy, then you just give it to Dakota. And I don't know if it's like, that would be like a sure way for me to know, oh, Dakota may not win. Who really wants that feeling? Who wants to do that? Not me. I don't want to see that. If you were trying to show me you was going to do something with one storyline, you could do it now and then do Dakota, so she can build up to that and have a moment. That's just kind of showing me that there might not be serious with Dakota being that champion. And for the women, if there's... This is a little bit personal. From what I seen last year, it's okay with building up a long-term storyline. It's okay. It makes sense. The women deserve that as well. But there needs to be plans afterwards. Because I think that Rhea is kind of in a weird position, because the Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Judgment Day thing, it was good. It was good, but there's no plan after. Her getting the title back only makes sense for her to get the title back. But what's next? You should not have your champion looking like what's next at all. And there was a point where you could have had it been Rhea and Io at WrestleMania and built that up. But instead, we're getting that after Elimination Chamber. I don't know what the plans are, for real. Why would you not book that for Elimination Chamber? Or why would you not book that for Mania when it makes sense? You can build yourself up a great storyline with that. Why just make it for Raw? And if you're going to have something occur to where they can't finish the match, then what are you gonna have EO do? What are you gonna have EO do? And then the whole damage control thing, I like damage control, don't get me wrong, but they have not been moving like, well, they have, but to me they kind of lost their finesse as a group with the whole PFC type of feud, because PFC wasn't giving anything. It was not giving anything. I'm sorry, I just was not feeling it, and majority of people were not feeling it. And I don't think that's anything that the women had involved with that, because you think about it in your head, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, makes sense. It seems as if it's a great idea, because you could do something with that, but the execution was not there. And when it comes to the women in their factions, they're lacking. You can name some male feud factions in recent day on the main roster. Now the NXT, they got themselves something going on, but the faction action with the women lacking. And that's why I'm thinking, like, the big three not being a faction makes zero sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. For you to want to pull a trigger and kind of separate the three makes zero sense to me when you're trying to build up a division that commands attention. The women already have the skill to command attention, but when it comes to professional wrestling, and as Michael Cole said, the WWE is the business of storytelling as well. So don't you want to build up the storytelling as well? Because that's what's lacking. Because we saw on SmackDown that the women are there when it comes to the wrestling. They are up there with the guys. This is not a bathroom break situation. None of that. They're up there. They have the talent. That locker room is stacked. So they should get treated as if they are stacked. That women talent is as good as the men, but they're not getting treated that way. You can name me a few feuds with some men that make sense, but when it comes to the women, you could barely do that. You just do that on the fact that you could see something going on. See as if a potential and chemistry with them. Because, don't kill me. Don't kill me when I say this. Charlotte, she is going to stand 10 toes down for those women. 100%. That's what I believe. And Charlotte does add something for the women, but her winning the Elimination Chamber, when you could have had a potential Io Sky and Rhea Ripley situation going on right there, it don't hit. It's simple as that. It does not hit. And I think that women, they should have those moments where their pool is big enough to do whatever they kind of want when it makes sense. But in the situation the women are in, they can't just have that thing going on. I'm sorry, they can't. For the men, if you wanted to have Roman Reigns win that Royal Rumble and have a 3-peat and him take the title, that would have been, the men's division could still hold up and be solid. The women's division, they kind of hurt by certain moves. The way that those women, the top women, former world champions, and the future of the company that got eliminated in that one moment at the Royal Rumble. Come on. Come on. And I understand you want to put Nia up there, because I agree with that. Nia is one of those talents, and I think that she should have had won a Royal Rumble already. You know what I'm saying? But I understand that her skill level was different before she got rehired, so I'm not mad at that at all. And Mania-wise, they can drop the ball with those matches as well. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying this. Because the women don't need to just have random tag matches. Granted, the tag title should be on there. And due to the fact that now we do have mid-card titles, I can see all the champions being displayed at Mania, which is cool. Fun. But there also could have been room for a non-title match with the women, because you do that with the men like crazy. I'm already thinking of I was already thinking of a fantasy booking with Sami Zayn and KO. They ain't got no titles. I'm already thinking of that because that's the way that you don't need to have a title to be at Mania for the men. If you have your great storyline, it can go there. But the women, they don't really have great storylines. And that's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's the booking. And you can even look past the women and you can see kind of a weird, like, a not that great booking with some men. The Street Profits is the best example there is. The Street Profits is Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Two great talents. And although Montez has a different type of swag about him where you could see him possibly fitting in the mode of being a world champion, Angelo Dawkins also has some great talent. Angelo Dawkins also is somebody you could see having a solid singles career. So why in the world have they not been champion in 3 years? Yet we had Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes being tag team champions. Now, this ain't no disrespect on those two because I love them. But they were champion for a hot second. And it also was like they didn't need to be world champion. They didn't need to be tag team champions. And again, a group that I like, Awesome Truth. Why in the world was Awesome Truth tag team champions before the Street Profits? And I get you gotta let things cook because that's how wrestling is. Wrestling is not gonna be what you want every single second. I ain't one of those people that think that way, but for you to have two great talents and possibly a future world champion be in a tag team, sitting doing the same routine and not getting what they kind of are worth, it's crazy. They sitting down, and if they're gonna be in a group that sits out a lot of moments that they could be in, they just need to separate. They need to have their own solo careers. Right now, I am excited to see what's going on with them because I think they're finally going to get that push. But if they do not, I'm telling you right now, separate them. Please separate them because I'm not here for it. I'm just not going to be here for it. The tag titles also need to be in these PLEs. If we're going to have them on pre-show, have them on the pre-show. That's cool. That's fine. That makes sense to me. And before y'all bring up the fact it was just at Royal Rumble, don't bring that up with me. Because we've gone a long while since tag team titles been defended on PLE. And just because one tag title gets defended, the other tag title got to get defended on PLE as well. That also needs to happen because there's two sets. They're not unified anymore. There's two sets. So those two sets need to be both defended certain times on PLEs, even if you're going to do it on pre-show. Same thing with women matches. If you're only going to have one women's match in the main show, at least put me 2 or 1 in the pre-show. So things can be a little bit more, they can get some screen time and some exposure. Because the women really deserve more than that. But I understand baby steps, you got to wean things in. But when you have a locker room as stacked as Bianca Belair, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, you have Zoe Stark. Don't say nothing about no Zoe Stark because I know she's talented. She's talented in that ring. Don't say nothing. Liv Morgan. You have all these people, yet what? They're only good to be on the SmackDown. They're only good to be on a Raw, even though Raw kind of still needs to work up when it comes to the women. I'm be honest. Because there's some moments where it's just not enough. And it's just not me complaining, but if they see a problem with it and they're vocal about it now to where they're not really wanting to have random tag matches on Mania, then what I'm saying is totally valid because I'm not even living it. I'm just a spectator, a fan, just saying more could be done. More could be done. We don't need to use the same women because if we do that, things won't grow. No shade to Bayley because I like Bayley and she's a solid woman. No shade to any of the horsewomen, but you recycling Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, Rhea, you just recycling them and just using those 4 women when you could use Naomi more. You could use Bianca more. You could use Candice LeRae more. You could use a lot of these women more and have them out there. They could be used more. 100%, because they are very talented. You don't just need to have the same women out there. Because although you kind of do that with the men, that needs to work. That needs to be worked too. There's still room for different faces to pop up. You got Damian Priest now being one of those people popping out. Braun Breaker. You have room where they're getting shine. Carmelo Hayes, and kind of getting a storyline booked and weaved into them. Yet the same thing cannot be said about the women. So I just think that things could need to be done a little bit better. Women do need to be booked better. Because this is not the divas. This is not divas no more. They're not the sideshow. They're not those bathroom breaks anymore. You want to sit down and see these women cook in the ring. So they should get the same type of treatment. Although I do know that the men probably draw more in certain stuff. But it's not like it's a huge gap. Unless we... I get we're not really talking about no John Cena, no Rock, or Roman Reigns, though. Okay? We're not talking about them. But there's women in there that deserve to be booked crazy. And deserve to be booked nice. With sense. Things can make sense in the women's division. I'm sorry. They can. And WWE, you need to bring back some fun. Bring back fun. Have the men and women's division interact. Not like valets. We ain't gotta have no valet situation all the time either. Because that's already being done. But there could be some storylines where the men and women interact a little bit more. Okay? But that's just me. Y'all let me know how you guys feel. And if y'all agree with me. Any examples? I'm willing to hear. But thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.